Life in the north of Spain is incredible. I say it, I repeat it, and I stand by it. In fact, today we're going to get to know a new city in the north of Spain to see what life is like around here. So stay tuned, because this video promises to be great. I'm going to visit another autonomous community in Spain, and this time it's also in the north. I'm a girl who feels very connected to the north of Spain. I really love it. I'll explain why I prefer the north, since life here is great for me, but I want to explore other places first. Let's see if I keep my opinion. Stay tuned to find out which autonomous community I'll visit to explore the local lifestyle and how people live there. Maybe interview migrants who went there and can share their experiences. I still stand by my view that northern Spain offers a great quality of life. Stay tuned, subscribe and like, because this will be interesting. I'm excited to explore this new place. It was time to explore more of northern Spain since I've only been to Galicia and Asturias. We're in Santander in the autonomous community of Cantabria. I'm really excited to explore this place. I've seen photos online and it's beautiful. And actually, I have a Cuban friend who lives here and she's going to tell me a little more about what life is like, how the rents are, the rentals, the lifestyle, if she has felt welcomed here and all that for people who might be thinking about moving here. It's also in northern Spain and I think it shares several characteristics, especially in the architecture I'm seeing. It's very interesting. It doesn't look that much like Galicia. It has its own characteristics, but it gives me vibes that let me know it's the north. In fact, I was reading on the internet that there was a fire here that completely destroyed the city and they basically had to rebuild it from scratch. And so the city combines many old elements with modern ones. That's what I was reading. That's interesting because it defines Santander's architecture. Let's keep discovering more. Look, in this part, it really reminds me of the port area. In A Coruña, it has a very similar vibe. It's different, but at the same time, it's very similar. And well, Santander is in a bay, and of course you're in the city and you have the sea and you have mountains. For me, this would be the perfect combination. For me, a city with the sea is everything. There's a small beach and mountains everywhere. I see a cruise ship and another beach. I love it. It's beautiful. Let's see how my Cuban skin handles these beaches. I'll check if the water is as cold as Galicia or different. In northern Spain, the water is usually cold, unlike the warmer Mediterranean. But I don't know, I get the feeling that here it's going to be warmer because I've read about it. I often search online for beach info and found the Cantabrian Sea is usually warmer than the Atlantic. Let's see if we eat something now. I read that the typical food here is good. There's a lot of traditional dishes and especially things from the sea, which is characteristic. Rabas, small calamari, fried tamales, and more I read about. Let's try them, shall we? Santander is very touristy, and this is the priciest daily menu I've seen in Spain. This menu costs 30 euros from Monday to Friday, and 35 euros on weekends and holidays. Honestly, it's quite expensive, but we're also in a very central area right now. The dishes look interesting. Let's try them and see how they are. For the first course, which was pretty fancy, I ordered a salad to stay healthy, but now I want the creamy rice the people next to us have. But it has Cantabrian cheeses, which I wanted to try. These are Cantabrian cheeses. Here, every place has its own production, its own cheeses, its own wines, its own specialties. Let's try it. It's really tasty and good. For the main course, sea bass, a local specialty. Honestly, it looks very elegant. For a daily menu, it's really good. Well, it's quite expensive too, but anyway, let's try it and see how it is. Now, my favorite part has arrived. Let's try the beach and see how it is. Here is my friend Isa. She's from Cuba, but she lived in France first. Isa, I remember that when you were in France, you eventually decided to come to Spain because Spain gave you better opportunities when it came to getting your papers. France is more complicated, isn't it?
Super complicated.
But I remember, well, in the end, we Hispanics are more connected to Spain. We give each other opportunities, but with France, we don't have any historical ties. None. So it's not easier, but I remember that when you came here, you were reluctant, you didn't want to come to Spain. Why?
Of course, because it was such a drastic change. I didn't know anyone when I arrived, but I made friends. It went well. I enjoyed speaking the language. I spent 2 years there, not 3. When I arrived, I felt very lonely and everything seemed different. It was a huge change in every way. Nationality, customs, culture, language. I spoke Spanish here, but everything still felt strange to me, even if that sounds odd.
I came to Galicia and don't want to leave. I really like it here. Maybe I'll move and like another place more, but I'm not sure. I like Galicia more and more. Did you feel that way about France?
Of course, it's like if someone told you now, well, Anita Mateo, come from Galicia, move, leave everything you have and everything you've built in Galicia and come to Santander. You think about it, you analyze it, because you say, it's a big change. And that's what happened to me. I adapted so much, or I closed myself off so much thinking that France was the only thing that existed, that nothing else could happen beyond that. When I arrived in Santander and saw the beach, atmosphere, culture, and welcoming people, in fact,
Similar to us.
it's totally very similar, and in the end, we're from here. It's the motherland, so I loved Santander, and I want him to come here to live.
How long did it take to adjust to Santander? Did you want to go to the Canary Islands?
I wanted to go to the Canary Islands, because it's true that I also had a lot of people in common there and all that. Here I didn't have anyone, I didn't know anyone anymore. I had a lot of people in the Canary Islands, people I knew from my city, from where I'm from, back in Cuba. So, well, partly because of affinity, I was saying the Canary Islands, and also because of the weather, because I have to point that out about here. The weather is a little complicated. We're not used to so much rain, so much wind, and here in the north it's usually very rainy and a little colder. And so I said, well, the weather that suits me best is in the Canary Islands. I have people who know me in the Canary Islands, so I'm going to the Canary Islands. But I also thought, like, wow, there's nothing else but the Canary Islands. No, on the contrary. Since I got here, it took me about 7 months to adapt. About 7, right?
Later.
Well, of course, but that's what I'm telling you. I was also kind of disappointed with France, because France hit me in many ways. So I was saying I'm not going to adapt to start over again. I had already left Cuba, and then I had to let go of Cuba, go to France, but then let go of France and come to Spain. There were 2 fresh starts in a short time.
I've already swum at this beach, and I can tell you this is like the Caribbean compared to Galicia. Taimi, since we're used to the cold waters of Galicia, what do you think? I love it. It's really warm. We've discovered the north, and it's not as cold as they used to say. Of course, for Cubans like us who don't want the water as cold as in Galicia, here you have the Cantabrian Sea, which is much warmer. Well, I went in head first and everything, and it's amazing. This water is super warm. Today we're exploring new beaches, and I want you all to see this. This isn't Mallorca, it's Santander. Look at this cove and beach. They're beautiful. Wait, just look at this. Oh my goodness. If I saw this photo, I'd think it's Mallorca, but it's actually Santander. Sir, the beaches here are stunning. Spain is magical. Everywhere you go, you find beautiful landscapes. I'm amazed. I think we're heading to this small beach today. We'll go down a few stairs, but it's worth it. Let's discuss what is life like in Santander, more topics. This is especially interesting for people considering moving here, like me. That's my friend whom you saw speaking earlier. And she's going to tell us a bit about her experience regarding how welcomed she has felt here. Topics like renting, transportation, and work. Things many people find interesting. Let's talk about renting. Was it hard to find a place when you arrived? How were the prices? I checked Idealista. Are they pricey here? This city is more expensive than I expected since I didn't know much about it.
When we arrived, it's true that it was a bit hard for us to find an apartment at first. Why? Because when you don't have, of course, a steady job or a contract, it's really complicated. Finding an apartment, what happens? What you see the most is sharing an apartment, and it's easier because it's cheaper. The most complicated thing would be living together, because you're not always going to live with people who are, similar to you or anything. That's the most complicated part. Well, once you have a work contract, you can find an apartment easily, or in quotes, more easily. They ask for many things like everywhere in Spain, but for us it wasn't too complicated. The search took about 2 or 3 months. It took a while, but compared to how hard it is for others to find an apartment, I think it was fast.
And could you say roughly how much you pay? Since you live right in the center of Santander, how much do you pay for your apartment? It's a large apartment with 3 bedrooms. I'm surprised. It's really big. How much do you pay?
We pay 950 there. We're right in the center of the city. We have a really great location. We have all the stores downstairs. We have Mango, Stradivarius, Pull & Bear. The shopping malls are really close to us. The location is really good, but it's 950 euros, not including utilities. Utilities are separate.
And was it hard for you to find that apartment? Or what did they ask you for?
What happened? Since we already had a contact with the real estate agency that found us our first apartment, it was easier because that same agency offered us this apartment. We had to adapt to their requests and decide if they worked for us. If we wanted to, if we didn't want to, we could keep looking, but we took that one first because we wanted to take advantage of the opportunity now.
Law was studied in Cuba, but it's hard to validate that degree here. Can it be recognized?
Law is difficult to validate.
Yes, the laws are completely different.
Of course, we share the same system of rights, you could say, since we inherited much from Spanish law. It's true that not everything is the same. It's a different political system, and of course the laws change.
And how has it been for you and your partner, who is a doctor, to find work?
For my partner, it wasn't that difficult. Because, as always, I feel like there aren't enough doctors and there's always a spot somewhere for them. For me, though, it actually became more complicated. So what happens? Obviously, I wasn't going to find it in my field. I need to study and do more to find it there. And for everything else, it was just getting to it. I mean, I had to look for a job. I spent about 3 or 4 months searching and then I found it. It wasn't easy, honestly.
Transportation is an issue. You live in a city, I'm in a small town and manage. Is it easier to get around in the city? Yes.
Here, public transportation is great. The buses come every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. The whole city is very well connected. I mean, for example, I live downtown, and if I want to come from downtown, I have my bus that brings me right here. There are Cabify taxi services, and I'm not sure if there's Uber.
Here in Santander, there's Uber, but in Coruña, there isn't. In Coruña, there's only Cabify in a Coruña.
In a Coruña, yes. Oh, it's also very good here. I think it's easy and not very expensive, you know. For example, if you get on the bus and pay for the ticket as is, it costs you 1.30, but if you buy your little bus card, it only costs you 0.60. It's much cheaper than paying for it as is.
How have the Cantabrians welcomed you, and how do you feel about adapting? Would you say it's a place where people like us, who are from outside, would feel welcomed?
About adapting. When I arrived, I feel like it was a very abrupt change, and I was a bit influenced by what people told me about the characteristics of Cantabrians. They told me they were like the most reserved people in Spain, let's put it that way. But I don't believe that at all, because that hasn't been my experience. I've been welcomed really well. I've never experienced any discrimination. I've never been discriminated against. They're always curious about where I'm from, my thoughts on Spain, and how I'm doing. I mean, they've been very warm with me, including at my job. At work, they stay close to me and like learning about my culture, interests, and what I do, which makes me feel good. That was also an important point for me to adapt and to change the sadness I felt when I came from France to Spain, so that helped me a lot.
I felt the same way in Galicia, since people say those from the north are a bit more reserved and colder. People say that, but I don't believe it. I think they have their own circles and just need more effort to open up. Once they open up, they're very friendly and genuinely good people. Just normal, you know? We can't judge everyone in a place the same way, because people are definitely not all the same. And I really like the character of people from the north, because at least I identify with that personality. I'm not a super sociable person who laughs with everyone. I'm very reserved, you know, I'm private, but with my close circles I'm very sociable, so I like the personality here. I relate to the people here and how they are.
That also gives you a bit of freedom to be yourself, because no one invades you, no one invades your space, so you can be yourself without being questioned. And another thing is that in the end, if for example you go to Cuba and you go to the eastern part of Cuba, people here aren't like those in the center. They have different cultures and personalities. It's everything. Change is everywhere, and that's what we have here. I feel comfortable and it doesn't bother me.
Adapt, we adapt.
Yes, I adapt. It's what we have.
That we have to adapt. We are the ones who come. I always say we have to adapt because we are the ones who come from outside. This place opens its doors to us, and in the end, it's up to us to adapt to the place, to the system, and to everything. Try to be the best, most respectful people. Work, pay taxes, and do those things. Don't you regret staying here, or do you still want to try living in the Canary Islands? Let's see.
The Canary Islands attract me for one reason, and that's the weather. It's true.
That the
North for me has some things I don't like, but what's going on? I have both the beach and mountains, which makes me want to stay here. I also have stability. I like it. I'm open to other things and opportunities, but I like it and feel good.
personally, I like the weather here. I prefer it because I don't like the heat. I like the weather here. It's perfect for me, as I'm so happy here. The north means everything to me. I love it. And I'm talking about the north, but you know, there's also the central part, there's the south, there are the islands, there's all that kind of stuff. I've visited them, but I feel at home here in Galicia, you know? I wouldn't want to leave. I really like it a lot. I adapted. I'm a very adaptable person.
That's the thing, that you adapted. So how do you feel so connected to what you're experiencing here as well? And the culture, the way people are in the north, well, I think you feel like you're in your comfort zone.
Well, now we're going to spend the afternoon on this beach. I love this city and honestly want to return to explore more places. Now we're going to have breakfast. We're here in the plaza. We went out for a walk to discover a little bit more. I've been really surprised. I've loved the quality of life here. I didn't think it was such a touristy city either. It's super mega touristy. So many English people come here, so many people. So I guess you can find work in this sector, also in hospitality. We went last night to a street with lots of bars and nightlife. Honestly, I was surprised. And at the same time, it's a city that's pretty calm. I mean, there are people, but not as many people as, for example, in Madrid. And I like the calmness. It's like the main reason why I like living in this area is the tranquility. I've always said I'm a country girl from a small town who prefers peaceful places. The city is just too crowded. I think I would get pretty overwhelmed if I had to live there. I mean, I could live there, but I would get really overwhelmed. And well, that's it. I hope you liked this video, that you enjoyed it. It's a new city in Spain to discover. I shared more information with you. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and like. These are key for the channel's growth. We're nearing 500,000 followers and I'm really happy. I'm leaving today and I'm really sad. I wish I could stay longer, but I have to return to Galicia, which I love. It's my favorite place. See you, sending a kiss. Bye.